Hey friends, my name's Carla and this is Happy Hoops Embroidery and welcome to episode 1 of Stitch School. My hope is that over the next few episodes, I'll teach you the basics of hand embroidery, help you create your first project with confidence, and get you stitching more quickly. So let's jump into episode 1. What is hand embroidery? Before we begin, let's answer one of the most common questions beginners have. What exactly is embroidery? At its most basic level, hand embroidery is the art of decorating fabric with a needle and thread. Instead of painting with a brush or drawing with a pencil, you're creating art with needles and thread. Now, that definition is rather basic, and there are a lot of other needle crafts that could fit that same definition. So let's take a look at what embroidery is and isn't. I've pulled a couple of kits from my collection to show you an example of embroidery versus cross-stitch. As we look closely, you'll see that the cross-stitch is done in more of a grid-like fashion and kind of gives like a pixelated vibe. Whereas when we look at this embroidery kit I have, you'll see it's much more freeform looking. You'll also hear other terms like needlepoint or crewel embroidery. These all fall into the needlecraft category. And to make matters worse, they all use very similar tools, techniques, and vocabulary. But for this series, we're going to be focusing on what I call modern hand embroidery. One of the reasons I fell in love with embroidery is that it gives me permission to slow down. It's calming, creative, and one of the best ways I've found to unwind. Studies also show that hobbies are super good for mental health, well-being, and it's something you can enjoy for years. As long as your hands and eyes are working, you can enjoy embroidery. The possibilities with this craft are truly endless. Apparel, home decor, heirloom gifts, personalized clothing, and much, much more is all possible with hand embroidery. So let's gather our supplies and get started. What supplies do you need to get started with hand embroidery? The good news is, not much. If you're starting with needlework of any kind, this aisle can look intimidating. The good thing is, you need very few basic items to get started with learning hand embroidery. Let's go over them. The first thing we'll need is a good sharp pair of embroidery scissors. These are different than scissors you'll have in your kitchen or in your junk drawer. These are meant to snip into very tight spaces and cut really cleanly. Next is embroidery floss. Floss refers to the type of thread that we use for embroidery. And each of these is called a skein. You can find embroidery floss at any major craft store. These are priced at about 59 to 79 cents each, and there are about 8 yards of floss in each of these, so they do last quite a long time. Of course, we'll need some embroidery hoops. These are what hold your fabric in place as you're stitching. They come in a lot of different varieties like wood or plastic. If you're just getting started, a 6 and an 8 inch from the craft store, these little wood ones are great and very inexpensive. Of course, we'll grab some embroidery needles. I use sizes 1 through 5 most often in my work. I recommend starting your collection with a couple packages of these. Hand embroidery is best done on a fabric that has a tight weave, like a linen or a cotton blend. I love to buy pre-cut cotton yards in the sewing section at my local craft store. And lastly, a water-soluble fabric pen is nice to have, but not necessary to get started. You can use these to draw on your fabric and then it rinses right away. But you can also just use a household pen or even a pencil to get started. Now that we have our supplies gathered, let's prepare our hoop to stitch. Join me in lesson 2 to get started with your first embroidery project.